in order to do that, and maybe because they want to. Otherwise, they have been essentially bulldozing one of the great news organizations, news brands in American history, CBS News, the home of, among other things, 60 Minutes, the most successful American news program ever. The veteran correspondent at 60 Minutes, Scott Pelley, the most recognizable person on 60 Minutes, the former host of CBS's network news show, and one of the most respected journalists in America. Scott Pelley has been fired by CBS News tonight after a widely reported staff meeting confrontation with the new leadership that was brought in essentially from the classified ads to come.
They don't like getting laughed at. If they all laughed at him, apparently, Scott Pelley was like, you came here to murder this place. And he goes, no, I have a lot of respect for 60 Minutes. And the whole staff laughed in that dude's face. And because Scott Pelley was kind of the ringleader, they're firing his ass. So what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Scott Pelley's out. You knew that was going to happen. Yesterday, we reported on that same thing where I've been saying this forever, that all these guys are going to get axed. There's no way that they're going to keep 60 Minutes the way it was going to be. And they said that they were going to. And then they started firing people. They fired. And now Scott Pelley's fired too, which is kind of crazy. I've been a fan of CBS 60 Minutes for a long, long time. I stopped watching it when Paramount bought them because I knew this was going to be a problem. I need to stop watching Star Trek because Paramount owns Star Trek. It's getting so bad. It's so sad to me. We can't have nice things anymore.
Run 60 Minutes. Scott Pelley confronting that new leadership about the changes that have happened at CBS News under the new leadership, under the new management, the sort of oligarchic takeover of that news organization, and now the news tonight that he has been fired. Scott Pelley has put out a statement tonight, just in the last few minutes, in response to being fired. I would read it to you, but listen to me. I sound like I've been gargling with steel wool. Luckily, Jen Psaki is here and is going to read the
I'm going to be your spokesperson, sort of. This is incredibly powerful. We were just talking during the break about everybody needs to hear every word, so I'm just going to read every single word so that the audience hears it. It starts this way. There's never been anything in America like 60 Minutes. The Sunday tradition is the most successful program of any kind in history. For more than a decade, its innovative growth on every major online platform has extended its reach to countless millions around the world. This spring, at the end of our 58th season, 60 Minutes grew rapidly with an unheard of 9% jump in viewers on CBS. 60 has been the #1 program in America for decades because our beloved audience finds integrity, quality, and humanity in our stories. When stewardship of the program passed to my colleagues and me, our responsibility was to expand energetically into a new age of media technology while preserving the values our audience expects. Now, the new owner of our network is casting this legend aside, apparently to curry a moment of favor with the Trump administration. The waste is heartbreaking. Last month, 60 Minutes lost its DNA when our entire senior leadership and 2 of our best on-air correspondents were cruelly fired without cause. Good people were silenced because they stood up for our audience. They stood for fairness against the forces of political bias. They stood for professionalism against chaos. For my part, new management has instructed me to inject falsehoods and bias into a politically sensitive story.
Wow.
Oof. I've been told, these are just incredible words to hear from Scott Pelley.
Yeah, just read that.
For my part, new management has instructed me to inject falsehoods and bias into a politically sensitive story. This is similar.
Like the fact that this, like one of the most respected journalists living today is saying that this administration has handpicked people to tell me to spread falsehoods on the news. Holy shit, man. I know there's a lot of people that say like all news is kayfabe, it's all, but like 60 Minutes has always been a little different. And the fact that Scott Pelley is saying that they're literally trying to get him to lie to the American people. It's fucking crazy, dude.
What Cecilia Vega also had in her statement just last week. He goes on to say, I've been told to include assertions that are unverified.
Wow.
To date, in every case, I've managed to ignore these instructions or refuse them. Recently, politicians have been invited to choose correspondents for interviews on the broadcast. Giving politicians control over 60 Minutes interviews is not how this is done. Finally, incompetence and unprofessionalism in the new management have wreaked havoc. In a case involving one of my stories, the entire program came within 19 minutes of not getting on the air at all.
Wow.
This is 60 Minutes. I mean, 9 million people, I believe, were watching as of last.
And a financial powerhouse.
A financial powerhouse. At 60 Minutes, we have fought harder than anyone knows to save the program that became an American icon. We owed that to our millions of viewers. I am deeply moved by the thousands of wishes we have received to keep up the good fight. Most of the men and women of CBS News are still in that fight, but now the collapse of values at the top has become untenable. The leadership of 60 Minutes is no longer recognizable. The principles I hold dear are gone, and so I must leave as well. I depart after 37 years at CBS with one emotion, a heart brimming with gratitude for the men and women at CBS News who encouraged and enriched my work, very often at the risk of their own lives. I pray for a day when those people and their ideals are honored again, a day when sanity, competence, and courage return.
Shit. Sanity, competence, and courage is not coming back. That left the chat, baby doll. It's not even being hidden anymore. It's being marketed. Harman Sarwar, you're exactly right. And if you're not pissed off by this, man, I don't know. Like, this is exactly how they described what happened in Putin's era, that they started with this type of shit. Stuff like Colbert, stuff like this thing with 60 Minutes, and it just spreads like a cancer. And it chills everybody else out. No one's going to want to say anything now because they're afraid of getting fired. They're afraid. They think that, well, I'm not going to risk it. Why would you risk it? After all, if you think you're doing good work, you start making compromises. You're like, all right, I won't say that. I won't say that. At least I'll be able to say this, right? I can still say this, right? And before you know it, Paramount owns CNN. And they do. Paramount bought CNN too. And Disney owns ABC. Holy shit, man. They always told us this was going to happen. They always said it was going to happen. You know, I always thought that it was going to be just our media, like our stories would all be owned by Disney and a couple other companies. I was always afraid of that. But like, I kind of thought, I don't know why I was so naive. I kind of thought the news would make it in America. Because after all, it's so corrupt anyway. They are beholden to advertisers and all the rest. But this was like, CNN was one of the only mainstream media that you could like sort of trust. Sort of. I remember I was watching it back when Andy Rooney was on the show. What really bothers me? Paper clips. I don't know. He always had some shit that I always loved. 60 Minutes, man. Now it's over. And I got to stop watching Star Trek now, too. I mean, shit, bro.
Wow.